5 members of 4 ventures in Studio G, which is NMSU Student Business Accelerator. And they're going to be talking about kind of their journey as entrepreneurs. And then we'll have a chance for some Q&A afterwards. So first up is going to be NoRu. What you guys talk?
Hi guys, well my name is Lucero Rubio. And I'm Emeli Novelo. And we are the owners of NoRu. So NoRu is a brand that me and Lucy created about a year ago. As of right now, we opened our first business in July as an online boutique, and we're currently under production of our first garments. So pretty much NoRu started as an idea over coffee. Last February, actually, she called me up and was like, hey, let's meet at Starbucks, 5 p.m. I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. We've never had a kind of like an official meeting, so met up with her, and sure enough, she just pitched this amazing idea to me. I've known Emeli for about 3 years now. We were roommates when I first moved to Las Cruces. So we kind of figured we had this similar mindset. So like what I realized from Lucy is that we had the same mindset, we had the same career goals. So it's like, okay, well, let's go into business together and put life to our ideas. So right now we are a brand. We aim to be socially conscious, and we're gearing it towards female empowerment. And by doing, we want to do that by creating quality products at an affordable price. And we kind of want each of our products to have a story behind it. So we kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about what we've learned from what it means to be an entrepreneur. So we were kind of just wondering how many of you guys felt or want to be or are entrepreneurs, if you guys could raise your hand. Yay, you guys are in the right place. So this is what we've learned from being an entrepreneur. You're going to feel like an outsider. Pretty much I think this hits home for us. Being in college, you come here and I think you're surrounded by people with amazing ideas, and a lot of the times they're aiming towards working towards a company or towards someone else, and people ask you, okay, what are you going to do after college? And you're just kind of like, oh. I used to be scared to say, I want to work by myself, I want to create my own business. And you shouldn't be scared. Like, I feel like it's okay to be different. It's fine.
It's definitely something to be proud of, to want to like work for your own dream. So next is you have to be motivated by challenge. When you're an entrepreneur, a lot of challenges are going to present itself because this career path might not be set up already. So you have to step out of your comfort zone and just push yourself to get to where you want to get.
So I can say for the both of us, being here today is kind of a challenge that we were motivated to come do. When Ledner called me about the opportunity, I was freaked out at first. Like, oh, we have to speak in front of people, that's crazy, like we don't do that. And then it took me like 2 seconds to be like, yes, we're gonna do it, we're gonna be there. Like, we can't miss this opportunity. So definitely. Also, you have to be able to recover quickly. You're gonna go through some stumbles for sure, but you have to make sure that you don't let that affect you. You take a few seconds to recover and just keep going.
Yeah, don't like let fear freak you out. Like use that as a motivation to keep going, and use it as a building block. So next, you have to be a fearless optimist. So that basically means you have to believe in yourself. You have to see the good in what you're trying to do, and not, again, don't let the bad stuff, the obstacles get in your way and stop you. Just keep going forward. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else is going to believe in your idea.
So pretty much that goes in line with failure. A lot of people are scared of failing, and many people see failure as a stopping point. Like, okay, I failed at this, I gotta sit back. But no, I think for entrepreneurs it's more of a chance to take something, take your idea, make it a little better, and put it out there again. It doesn't mean to stop. So I think that's the difference between that. And this is one that's very important to us. You have to surround yourself with mentors and people that are like-minded, because going into this, sometimes you are pretty alone. Like you have this idea and you share it with people, and some people don't understand what you're doing.
So for us, I think our creative outlet, our mentors are obviously Studio G.
Yeah, we've definitely found like a safe haven here. It was probably the first people that when we said, oh, we want to be entrepreneurs, they're like, good luck with that. No, they were like, that's awesome. That's what we're here to like help you with. So that was really encouraging because for the past 6 months before we joined Studio G, we kept getting just like negative comments about it. And we're like, when we came to them for help, that's exactly what we received. So you're malleable. Okay, you have to be open-minded. You surrounded yourself with all these great mentors. You surrounded yourself to get their perspective. So take it into consideration. They're telling you this to help your business, to help you grow. So you have to be open, even if you don't like it. They're telling you that for a reason, and it's probably because you need it.
Yeah, so like she said, you have to be okay with listening, taking a step back, and putting your idea out there, but being okay with it having a couple glitches, and you have to be perfectly fine. You have to be coachable. I think that's a good characteristic to have. And I think this is the most important. Like, it's only an idea until you take action. So definitely taking action is a big part of it. Like, you have this idea, what are you going to do with it? Definitely move forward with it. Don't ponder upon it for a very long time, because someone else may have the same idea and they're going to go for it. You're going to sit back and be like, you know, I had the same idea, but that train left, you skipped out on it, so someone else is going to make out of it what you didn't. So
definitely important to take action. And lastly, don't stop. Don't let the obstacles get in your way. Keep going. Make that idea, that dream job, whatever your lifestyle is, make it happen and just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, so pretty much that's just what it is. You can't stop. We've had times where you kind of just doubt ourselves, or you're going to doubt yourself too, but you can't let those doubts just be an obstacle. So that's pretty much it for our presentation. You can follow us. This is our website right now, NoRu Boutique at my Shopify, and we have Facebook and Instagram, so just make sure to follow us, give us a like.
There's definitely a lot to come, so keep up with us.
All right, thanks a lot. Next up, we're going to have Alex Gorshuch.
Okay, so, Alright, as Kramer said, I'm Alex Gorshuch. I'm going to be talking about my invention today, which is the FieldMAK. And that gobbledygook stands for Field Modular Microbiology Assay Kit. So first, a little bit about my background. I went to the University of Illinois for my undergraduate, where I studied cognitive neuroimaging, and I'm a computer science grad student here. My dissertation is on deep learning and artificial intelligence. And in my past, I've spent months at a time living in a tent in Alaska, Arizona, and Lake Tahoe. And I conceived of this device while doing conservation work in South Africa. And just a quick note, so I don't get any hate mail, this lion is not dead, it is tranquilized. Some friends and I heard that poachers were coming, so we tranquilized him and got him out of there.
So my inspiration for this device was modularity. So as you can see from my little sketch here, there's a base kit which has redundant power and sterilization, and this allows microbiological assays to be run in the field through modular units. So it has 8 bays, and what can be put in these are things like cell lysis, which breaks up cell barriers, a centrifuge, which spins and separates fragments, controlled temperature storage, which pretty obvious, it's storage and you can control the temperature at which it is. Gel electrophoresis, which separates genetic fragments based on size. Polymerase chain reaction, which amplifies genetic material. And Western blot, which separates and identifies proteins. And then I also have that ketterer here because, say in 10 years, some guy a lot smarter than me invents some crazy new diagnostic technique. Well, customers won't have to buy a whole new system. I'll just have to build a modular unit that'll fit into this, and then they can have that with them in the field. So the current status of this device. One of the first things I did after joining Studio G, which has been very helpful, is I did the Aggie I-Core grant program. And I completed this with a GO designation for the National I-Core. I'm in the patenting process now for separate components and subsystems. The centrifuge, controlled temp storage, gel electrophoresis, and polymerase chain reaction modules, as well as the learning algorithm software package, are all in the process of being patented. So what this software package does is it highlights known good parameters and auto-suggests good parameters, which will speed research and eliminate waste from first trial runs. And I'm also in the process of building my prototype, which is currently being built by 8 ME and IE, mechanical engineering and industrial engineering students, which I am mentoring through the capstone program. This prototype will then be evaluated by Sandia National Labs through the NMSBA grant. And finally, I'm going to do the Legislative Graduate Education Day, which is in March, and I'm presenting my research to the state legislature. And some future trials to overcome and plans for the future. So a grant that I'm currently applying for is the NSF I-Core, which is very similar to the Aggie I-Core. It's all about customer discovery. It just requires travel, it's more money, more time, and about 3 times the interviews. And like I said, I'm currently applying for this program, and fortunately a lobbyist contact of mine in DC has come through, and I've already arranged 80 of these 100 interviews. So I haven't even officially been accepted to the program, but I've got 80% of the work done, so that's pretty good. And I also need to raise awareness. I'm going to do this through Kickstarter, and the prior mentioned lobbyist has a journalist in Forbes and one in the Wall Street Journal who will write an article about my invention to raise awareness. And then I'm also going to launch, obviously, and I'm aided in this by the NM Launch Grant, which provides customer discovery and marketing education, which is a competition for cash prizes, legal fees, etc. And plans for the future. Once I finish with this, I've got 25 other inventions and business ideas I'm going to pursue. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we got Mariel, and she's going to talk about TimerGlove.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about TimerGlove, but a lot on how entrepreneurship has made a huge difference in my life. And I think that you should try to pursue some experience in entrepreneurship, if not pursue a career with entrepreneurship. So let's go. To start off, I'll give you a little background about me. So my favorite color is orange. I am a Brazilian. I am studying industrial engineering in NMSU. I came here because I got an academic scholarship, and I'm very passionate about traveling, networking, and entrepreneurship. So my story with Studio G started in 2014 in one of their programs. They have a lot of programs, you should check it out. One of their programs that's called Startup Weekend. In there, I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I wasn't very interested about. I thought it sounded like nice, but I had never done anything like that before. And then a friend heard about this event, and I thought was like, oh, okay, sounds interesting, I will go. And then we called some friends and we all went there. We had some workshops on how to come up with a new idea. And then my friend just came up with this idea like at that night in the event, and we started our business just like that. It wasn't something that we were planning for before or anything. And after that program, we engaged in many other programs. Right now, we are part of the Hunt Scholarship, so I receive a scholarship to work on my business. I'm also one of the winners of the Shark Tank program, where I got 2 very nice investors that are working with me in order to bring my project to a reality. So, why am I an entrepreneur? So, there's a lot of reasons why I love doing this and why I'm here today, but I summarized in 3 main reasons, okay? So the first one, it's a unique learning experience. I cannot emphasize that to you. You will learn things that your major would never teach you. You will go through different situations that you didn't expect to face or that you were not prepared to face, and you will learn through very pressure situations. And this learning experience is very unique. You will not get having any other work or any other career path. It's a unique learning experience from entrepreneurship. Second point is the challenge that the girls touched on. I love challenge. I am very motivated with challenge, and it is very challenging to be an entrepreneur. Even more being a student entrepreneur, I am also the president of an organization here in the school. So I have 1,000 things to do, and entrepreneurship, it kind of get more time out of all of the things that I do, but I really got motivated through challenge. So I just wanted to do like a little point here, a little connection on what it's like to be an entrepreneur. So recently I decided that I want to skateboard, and then people looked at me kind of funny, like you skateboard? Like, I don't know, it just doesn't look like you. But I was like, yeah, I really want. And then I got it, and when I got my skateboard, I was like, okay, I'll just train like far from everyone because I don't want anyone to see me. And I started to train a little bit, but it wouldn't get much better. So I was like, okay, I need to start going to class with my skateboard, and that's where I'm going to learn how to skateboard. And then I started going to class, and I felt a lot of times. One of the times I felt, this guy was like, oh, don't worry, because perfection comes from practice. And I was like, thank you. But I mean, now I go to class with my skateboard, so that's how it is. Like, it's challenging. You will fail a lot of times. You may feel like you're not getting better, that you are not going to get there, but in the end it is worth it. In the end you can do it, and you learn a lot through that experience. The third thing that why I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about my business. I really want this to work out. I'm passionate about the challenge. I'm passionate about the knowledge that I've been acquiring and about the networking I'm doing. It's incredible networking too. I will touch on that right now. So what difference it has made in my life? First thing is that made me help to discover my talents. So I discovered some talents that I had no idea that I had, and I am also practicing some talents that I wouldn't be practicing as much. So for example, public communication. I'm here in front of you today. I wasn't as good before. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm working for it. And a lot of other talents that I'm like, okay, I'm in love about it. I wanna be better on this too. Second point, unique networking. Oh my God, it's so nice to talk to other people who are doing startups. They have new ideas, they're so energetic, they're passionate, they have like, the other day I was talking with this guy that has also a startup, and he has all new apps that he's using for his startup that I didn't know. Like, he's like all about innovation, so you learn a lot. You think you learned, you think you knew, but when you talk to these people that are constantly innovating and thinking about it, it's awesome. You learn about it a lot through that too. Third thing is the professional differentiation. So this is very nice. It's very good to have in your resume that you have entrepreneurship experience. Last summer, I was the only one from New Mexico State in a group of 200 interns in the Kellogg company in Michigan, so it really makes a difference. They look at it, and it does make a difference because through this all variety of different experiences, we develop so unique skills that employers are looking for. So have this kind of experience, it's a really huge professional differentiation. Okay, so they asked me if I wanted to say something else to my audience, and I think I thought a little bit about it, and I decided to bring something that I said in my innovation speech in my communication class some days ago. That is that I think that a successful career path, it's closely tied with innovation and creativity. And if I would tell you how to maintain creative, how to be creative in your work life, I would say work with passion. Embrace your project, learn of your project, read about it, talk to other people, network with them, share your experience, listen to their ideas, and discuss about it, because that's how you are going to learn, you are going to have new ideas, you are going to stay and keep creative. And I would just like to finish up with a quote that I also said in my speech some days ago from a book that talks about creativity, and the name of the guy is that guy right there. I won't read his name for obvious reasons. And the quote is, "Because for better or for worse, our future is now closely tied to human creativity." And what he meant is that we need to get creative, we need to innovate, because we need to be able to adapt to the new circumstances that the world presents us every day. Thank you.
Next up, we got James Owen.
How you guys doing? Good. Woo! Should I start with a joke or? No. Yes? Yeah, I didn't think that far. No, so my name is James Owen. I noticed on the program they put me down as serial entrepreneur. So it's not serial killer, that's entrepreneur. Just clear that up. If anyone, okay. Yeah, that's why I don't tell jokes. Yeah, but I wanted to start this presentation off with a video because videos are fun, why not? So this is from my YouTube channel that I started in 2007, and so it's kind of a welcome to my channel thing that all my new viewers look at.
Hi. Thank you. All right. Hi, my name is James Owen. This is my YouTube channel, Cooter James. What is Cooter James Films? I like to describe it as a channel with action, vlogging, and pretty much anything that catches my attention. It's all about the story, so lean back and enjoy the show.
So that's a little bit of what I'm all about. I like to jump off things. I like to go over the edge. I think that quote kind of summed up really entrepreneurship, what it's all about. Because if you're ever going to progress, you have to step off the cliff, right? And you have to really go into the unknown. You have to get out of your comfort zone. So I really want to talk about that today. Really doing your best work. So really before I get into that though, I kind of want to give a little bit of background about who I am, other than a crazy guy that jumps off of bridges and all that fun stuff. So I started my first company, if you will, in middle school. I edited some BMX videos and I sold it on campus. I sold it to teachers, I sold it to students. And that's how I really knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had this drive to make a product, something that I loved, and share it with others. And that's really where it started. And so really from there, in high school, I did horseshoe designs. So that was actually, this is a thing from our high school yearbook. They recognized me for doing the work there. So what that was is we did custom horseshoe designs, and so I sold that in high school. And the reason I bring this up is not only for you guys to kind of understand some of the things I've done, and I'll go into some of that later. But I mean, the biggest thing I really wanted to stress was, and I mean, a lot of the speakers, which they did great, like how can I back all those up, you know? But no, they touched on something that I completely agree with, and it's being passionate, doing your work and being as passionate as you can. I mean, waking up and knowing that you want to do what you're about to do. Because if not, what's the point, right? And so that's what I discussed there. So that's one of the companies there. Here's another one. This is I specialize in wedding videography as well. So that's my video production site. That's Super Trikes for any of you guys that may know. And that's passionate work right there. If you can ride your product and have a big smile on your face, then I think you're doing the right thing. And then I just recently started a graphic design company, and that's for a local gym actually here in Las Cruces. I did their logo. Let's see, and so that's what I wanted to talk about. And I think something else that's really important, so one of the lessons that I've learned is having a very clear, a definite path of how you're going to get there. I think that's the biggest thing. That's one thing I've learned. If I ever tried to go into a venture and didn't have a good idea of how it was going to work, knowing the ins and outs, then it was very likely to fail. So that is something I want to share with you guys. Really having a good idea of how it's going to work. Because I mean, anyone can have an idea, but execution is everything. That's paramount. So I wanted to touch on that, and I really wanted to end it with this. Stay hungry. Always stay hungry. Because if you're not constantly thinking about it, like I get some of my ideas while I'm sitting in class. I should probably be paying attention to the class, but I'm thinking about my businesses. I'm like, how can I mess with this? Oh, well, that dimension's off. How can, you know, just constantly love what you do, constantly think about it. Like it has to keep you up at night. And then hopefully you can get some sleep. But I mean, so that's a big thing, and that's really what I wanted to end it with. Stay hungry, stay passionate, and do what you love. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was great to hear what you guys are working on. Now we got a chance to take some questions. Does anybody want to start? Anybody have any questions?
What would you guys recommend for someone who's starting out with just an idea?
Actually, what I just talked about, like knowing the logistics, like how is it that you're going to go about it, right? And that can be from a fiscal standpoint. So how am I going to get funding? for this company, and then how am I going to sustain the business? How am I going to keep it going? And what do I need to do that? That's what I would say.
I think for me, just get something out there, even if it's just a Facebook page with your idea, just so you can get your name out there and people recognize it. Maybe just seeing it, inviting people to like your page. But definitely, even though you have an idea and you don't have an actual product, just make a page or something to just keep you relevant leading up to what you want to do. And definitely, like we said, seek out mentors, because we kind of started on our own and we found that it was easier to find someone that supports your idea. So that's...
Definitely talk to Studio G. You go through an intake interview with them, and then they'll help you find resources and mentor you a lot. And really fantastic program. And I should get bonus points for that, guys.
We didn't pay.
So do you already have your idea? Yeah. Okay. So what I would say, embrace that idea. Make it all of you. Like, make people look at you and remember about it. Talk to people about it. See what they think. Because, for example, my idea, I already had to change like my main path to adapt to my target market, and this is the most important. So definitely I was going to say also go to Studio G, because they will help you with a lot of that, but embrace it and take it as it is yours and think about it 24 hours per day.
If it was 25 hours a day, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
I got a question. How would you say to approach, I guess if you have different ideas, how would you say to approach that? Like how to
So how would you decide between multiple ideas?
Yeah,
Which one to pursue?
Like how he said, you're always having ideas of different businesses to make. So how would, I don't know, how have you approached it?
2002, actually. Well, yeah, that's a really good question. And I would say the answer to that can really be, what do you think can be the most sustainable? Because I've had a lot of ventures, and some of them, they simply make sense more than others, right? And that's why I have the ventures that I think are going to be more sustainable in the long term, and those that I'm also still very passionate about, but maybe I won't pursue as heavily as the ones that maybe are easier to market, right? Like maybe there is a bigger market for one of your ideas, but there's next to no market for one of the other ideas. So I would say that.
Also, just prioritize your ideas. I think it's a great thing to have various ideas, but give each idea the amount of time it deserves. So like if you have that one great idea, okay, start with that idea and give it all the time, all you can to it. And from there, you're gonna learn from that idea how to get your idea going, so you'll be able to run your other ideas more successfully.
My thing would be collaboration, because there's other people that might have similar ideas as you do, so maybe getting with them and being like, okay, even just seeking advice or finding a way to somehow mix those ideas, because people are always looking to work with each other, so collaboration.
So kind of dovetailing with what everybody else said, so on one hand, you've got what you're really passionate about, and like James said, you've got something that can support the other ideas. So for me, FieldMAK, out of the 26 ideas I've got, it's not my #1 most passionate idea. It's about number 4 or 5. But it's the one that's A, the easiest to get into, and B, something that will absolutely be able to support me going through the rest of the ideas, which are harder to get into and need a bit more capital to get into. So you want to find that sort of cross-match of where your passion is, and not to sound cliche, but where the money is.
Good advice. You got some more questions?
I have a question for NoRu would have been an advantage for you guys to work in a team and kind of close together with yourselves or working team for. Do you wish that team?
I think for us, it's just having each other, because there's situations where, like, for example, our first buying trip, We went on it was 36 hours that we had because we had a class on Tuesday, left that evening, got there like at 2 in the morning, slept for a couple hours, and the next morning we had about 5-6 hours to do all our buying and head back to Las Cruces because we had class at 10:20 the next day. So I think just having her there, because at one point I remember like sitting in the middle of the classroom district, we have a budget, like a couple hours to get it done, and we had about 3 hours left, and we didn't have anything. So I think just having her, because at that point we just wanted to scream and leave and just get it just done. But what we did, we just ran to the first hot dog stand. We had a hot dog. We sat down for 30 minutes, talked to each other, kind of just like gave each other a pep talk. So for us, I think it's just that, having each other, because otherwise being alone might have been a little harder. Probably wouldn't have quit, but it wouldn't have been as fast to recover. So.
Yeah, like I actually did go solo 3 years ago. I opened my first shop. I learned firsthand that I did not want to do it alone. Like, I learned from my mom a lot of entrepreneurship, and she went at it alone, and she did great. She had multiple businesses, but I also saw the headaches that she carried alone, and I'm like, I don't want that. I want a partner. And when I met Lucy and I learned, I got to know her better, and I saw that she had that mindset, I was like, oh my God. This is it. I found someone who has the same mindset, same goals. We can make this happen. So that was really awesome.
For the rest of the guys, do you want to talk about what you've learned about starting a business by yourself versus with a team? How you made that decision?
Yeah, I would say I saw something that really kind of resonated with what you're asking here, and it's essentially the fact that everyone has their own sort of entrepreneurship DNA, if you will, right? So maybe you have, let's say, the more introverted, quiet person who maybe knows all the technical aspects of the product, right? And then you have the risk taker, maybe they're the person that's doing the marketing. They're really loud, but maybe that, so the point is you have to find that kind of yin and yang, someone to balance you out, right? Like I have, when I finally decided to bring someone on for Super Trikes, it was a guy that he brought me kind of out of the clouds. Sometimes my head would be up there, very often, still is. But I would be maybe over optimistic about a deadline. He'd kind of bring me down. He'd say, hey, look, logistically speaking, we need to do this if you want to get that done. So it's like really finding out who balances you out for sure, and who can really not only balance you out, but build with you is huge.
So my experience with them was a little bit different because we all went, so as I said, we all went together to this event, and one of my friends had the idea and we all just kind of joined. So we were friends and we were a big group, 6 people, and it still is so challenged to have a lot of people in the team. So what happened is that all of them were international students, so they got back to their countries, and working abroad, it's a huge challenge. So if you go for that, make sure you choose well your partners. And in our case, for our business warrants the priority for some of the team members, so 2 of them are not in the team anymore because they weren't able to like deliver and be constant with the project, being far away. So what I would say is that having a team, it's great. It's a lot of times necessary because you cannot do everything by yourself. But choose someone really that matches with the same effort that you are putting. Because it will be really frustrating if you have the motivation, you are putting the effort, and your 50% partner on the company is not putting that same effort. So be careful, because having a team can be really challenging sometimes, so be careful when you choose your team members.
Alrighty, so right now I'm basically solo. In the past, when I was working on this in the past, I did have a team, and they were really just terrible, to say the least. And the number one thing that I've learned about having a team, number 2 things, sorry, I can't count. First thing is to make sure that the people you choose have the same dedication and passion and discipline as you. My former team did not, and that's why they're not involved anymore. And then the other biggest thing that I've learned is to never create a stalemate. So say if you're dividing up 100% equity, don't have 50 and 50, because if the two people in the 50-50 disagree, then you can't go anywhere. And whatever it is, if you've got 3 people, don't have 33.3, 33.3, so on and so forth, because if you have 4 people, don't have 25, 25, 25, 25, because you can get that same 50-50 stalemate. So if you have a team, and more I'm learning it's good to have a team, and fortunately all my team right now is unpaid and has no equity, so that's really awesome. But that's the biggest thing I've learned if you want to have a team, is make sure they're passionate and make sure you can't have a stalemate.
Good advice. So we got some more questions?
Yeah. So you talked about surround yourself with mentors, specifically NoRu, but this is really for the panel. When you look for mentors, what specific characteristics do you look for?
I personally look for someone who hasn't given up, because I think if they've given up, then they gave up on their idea journey. So someone who knows, maybe they've touched on the career path that you're going towards, and who hasn't given up or has maybe retired and they've had a successful life, learn from them, ask them. Most of the time, people are willing to share their knowledge. They're just looking for someone to share it with. So don't be afraid to ask and look for people to mentor you.
So I would say, personally, I don't think there's ever a specific trait that I look for in a mentor, just because I think my entire life experience and all the people that I've associated with, the entire culmination, they were my mentors. So I've developed my own idea based on the advice of so many different people, whether they failed me or not. And if you found, that something doesn't work, you're able to have that different perspective now. Whereas if you did limit yourself to one type of mentor, then you're really only getting one side to really the full spectrum of entrepreneurship as a whole.
Yeah, I completely agree. I would say, if you are looking, picking up one mentor, look for someone who you think would have connections for you and who has experience with your field. But for me, what has made a big difference in my mentors and the mentorship that they have given to me is that they really believe on me. So having someone as experienced as my mentors telling you you did great, you are doing awesome, you are amazing, it's like a boost of motivation and energy that sometimes you just really need to hear from someone that that have that experience, that has following your work, and that believe on you. Because if you feel wow, they really believe on me, so yeah, let's keep on going. Sometimes you need that.
So I find the important thing to find in a mentor is someone who will push you to be better than you are. So, like I said, I've got a lot of business ideas, and one of my problems is focus. I used to have this really idiotic notion that I couldn't really consider any of the 25 other ideas in production, so to speak, unless I spent at least an hour a week on each one. And an hour a week on 25 projects, that's 25 hours a week down the drain for something that's way on the back burner. That was really stupid. And fortunately, I found a mentor who told me that in nicer terms. So make sure you can find a mentor who isn't just a yes man who can just tell you, great job, but can also say, hey, good job in some areas, but get better, buddy.
Any more questions? Got one for you guys. Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourselves when you're just getting involved with entrepreneurship?
I think we could have gotten started a little sooner with our idea. Maybe just if you have an idea, go forward and do it. Don't just ponder on it for a while, because I think that's what we did. We kind of let our life kind of just get in the way, because everyone has jobs, families, you know, things that you have going on, but you just have to make sure to prioritize your idea, because you can't wait on it for too long. So
yeah, don't wait for the perfect time, because it does not exist. Just go for it. If you really want it, then put in the work for it.
So I'd punch myself. No. Oh, that was okay. So, no, if I was able to talk to younger self, I would definitely tell him, James, good-looking guy, but you need to really think about things, right? Know the logistics, the ins and outs, and really have a very clear and definite timeline is huge, because I think it's very easy to have holes in a plan, and then to encounter that obstacle later down the road. Whereas if you did plan for it, you would have already put yourself in a good position to really solve that problem, because you knew it was going to come. So
I think I would probably say, stop going out, girl. You really need to put your time on this, because so my project has 2 years now, and I think if I had put more time on the beginning, it would be farther right now. Right now I'm putting all my time, like I am not sleeping. I learned the lesson. But it could have been better if I just knew how much time I had to put. You guys, if you want to open one business, you have to put your time on it. It's not only like having the vision or having the thrive to do it, or having the motivation. You have to put your time, read about it, talk to people, go out there, put your time on it. That's my advice.
Alrighty, so if I had to give my younger self a piece of advice, so first I'm going to give the extremely specific advice that I would give to myself, and then I'm going to extrapolate it out to other people. My super specific advice to my specific past self would be to move out of Illinois and come to New Mexico. But what that really means is go to places where there are a lot of resources and good mentors. I don't mean to keep harping on it, but Studio G is a fantastic place to find resources and mentors. And I've found that moving down here and getting in touch with them has not only enabled me to find resources, but got mentors that can teach me how to have the discipline to focus and find better resources and improve myself and make up for shortcomings in my entrepreneurial style.
All right, so you guys have all been able to manage, your lives as students and then also as entrepreneurs. Have you been able to do that? And everybody talk about what you're studying.
So one of the best things is that my advisor is quite flexible. Not only did he allow me to do the exact dissertation that I wanted to do, but when I talked to him at the beginning of this semester and explained why I'm late with lit review, with the grants and stuff, he said, I've never heard a better reason for being late with assigned work, so that was pretty great. Biggest thing I found is to focus and make sure that you're putting forth your best effort and make sure that effort is going to what really matters. So I'm a grad student, so if I get B's instead of A's in my classes, ideally it's great to get A's and succeed at the business, but at the end of the day, if I have to get a B in a class and work a lot harder on the business, it's better to do that, because that's going to benefit me a lot more in the long run. So just get your priorities in order.
What are you studying?
Oh, sorry, computer science, master's and PhD.
So I am a CTFN major here, which is clothing, textiles, and fashion merchandising, and I'm minoring in marketing. And for me, it is tough. I work 30 hours a week. I have an internship. I do this. We are part of the Hunt sponsorship too, so I think that kind of helps us set out time, because before it was like whenever we found the time, we'll get to it. But now it's like, okay, we're having several meetings a week where we FaceTime. She lives in Guadalajara right now, by the way, so she came down for this specifically. And it is harder because we have to find the time where, okay, she has enough, she's available for 30 minutes, so am I, like, let's sit down and talk right now. So it is a lot harder because we all have lives, but just, like you said, prioritizing is important.
Hi, so I currently switched from a CTFM major to individualized studies for the same reason, because I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship so much. Like she said, I am currently studying abroad in Guadalajara, and the reason I decided to do that is because we want to manufacture in Mexico. So I wanted to learn firsthand, okay, what's it going to take? What do I have to learn? I might as well use my college time to learn exactly that. So that's why I personally switched my major. And like she said, it's finding time. Like, find any way that you can dedicate your time to what you want to do it. And just prioritize is the important thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Prioritize. I would always say that everyone on this earth, unless there's some new technology out, but everyone, to my knowledge, has 24 hours in a day. So how are you going to utilize every hour, right? Finding every nook, every cranny. When you're not doing one thing, you're doing another. And so how I manage it is I'm very adamant about writing things down and prioritizing what is most important, what needs to get done first, and having a good sense of really a timeline. And then personally, my major is mechanical engineering technology, and then I'm also working as a residential assistant here on campus. And so that's what I'm up to, alongside the business ventures, of course.
So something different than what all of them said, prioritize. Just kidding. But really, prioritize your startup, because if you do not put the effort and your time, no one will. So make it happen. This was a really big challenge for me, and I always thought I could do everything. I went traveling, I thought I could manage a startup and study abroad. It didn't go very well, so just really prioritize your startup and make it happen, put your time on it. My major is industrial engineering. I am a senior right now, and an entrepreneur as well.
Any more questions for the student entrepreneur panel? Last chance.
How will you know when you finally reach success?
Can you repeat?
He said, how do you know when you will reach success? Never, I would say. And I say that only because that's how, as I mentioned, staying hungry. Like, it's really never enough, right? But just really constantly always wanting to evolve your product, whatever it may be. So yeah, no, because I think if you have a goal and you reach it, and then from there, I really think it would be very easy to plateau and then fall off. And really look around and see that things are constantly changing, and if you don't change with them, you're just going to fall off. So, but yeah, that's it's very relevant, or relative, I should say, success to whoever it may be, but yeah, I would say never. Art is constantly changing, right?
So I think also, if you have like an entrepreneurial mindset, you're always seeing ideas. So once even you get to the next level, you're gonna probably see another idea for your business. So from there, you're gonna stay hungry. You're gonna keep wanting to feed that new idea. So there really isn't like, oh, I made it. Like, no, maybe to others it looks like you made it, but for you personally, you're gonna be like, no, you're still gonna be really hungry for more.
You have to stay relevant, so you can never stop, really. Like, for us, it's just like we're always constantly coming up with ideas that we set to the side, and we're like, okay, once we achieve this, once we open our store, what are we gonna do from there? Like, we're constantly just like, yeah, so there's never gonna be a point where we're gonna be like, okay, maybe, yeah, we're gonna be proud of what we're doing, but to us, it's never about the amount of money that we make or how, like, known we are. It's just kind of how happy we are with what we're doing and how we're gonna keep going from that. So, yeah, never.
Yeah, I mean, exactly the same thing that everybody else is saying. Just never, excuse me, never stopping. I use my entrepreneurship, once this FieldMAK pays off, I'm going to use it to fund my research and also to, put money aside for my future family. So, and neither of those will ever stop being something where I want to put resources into. So I'm going to want to keep accruing resources through entrepreneurship. So never stop.
Yeah, I agree with all of them. And I would say that never stopping is success, because if you see your company growing, and you keep on that motivation to increase and to have new ideas, and okay, I found my prototype and I tested and I sold it and people liked it, wow, but now I have a next level. I was successful, but I have a next level, and it doesn't mean that I'm not successful because I didn't achieve that next level. It means that I'm being a successful entrepreneur because I'm always achieving goals and making new ones.
Good answers, guys. Any more questions? All right, well, thanks for coming. Let's give our panel a round of applause. All right, and we'll be back with the Entrepreneur Encounters in a month. And so definitely check that one out. It's on the Studio G Facebook page. And then also, if any of you are interested in joining Studio G, if you've got a business idea, we've got flyers on the table out here, and then you can join our mailing list. So thanks for coming and enjoy the pizza.
Thank you.